What's up, guys? John, let me know if you can hear me good. So it just took me a second. I went in through Studio, so I was trying to go live, and it was only letting me like look at the video. But if you can hear me, let me know. I see Peter's in the chat. What's up, Peter? Hope you're doing well today. Yeah, I thought this would be a good time, a good day to go over the. I have my phone. Let me get my phone so I can check the scores. I don't know. I'll check them in a second. Anyway, so you guys could always fill me in on the scores too. So I see I was a little late, so I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. So probably for people to trickle in. I put some notifications in there too, so I'm guessing people are gonna be here in a second. Yeah, I was trying to go live. It looks like the only game that it looks like it's just me and Peter right now. Hopefully, there we go. We got some people. I was explaining. I was a few minutes late. I don't have my phone right now, but as I was saying, you guys will probably run through the scores with me. It looks like the only game that's not looking great is the Giants. Last I checked, what's up, Phoenix? I'm glad you made it, man. I'm hoping you guys can fill me in on some scores. I honestly haven't checked the scores in a minute, and I can get my phone in a second. But I figured you guys always hit me with the scores anyway. So if there's any game you guys want like my opinion on, just let me know because I don't have the phone handy. But yeah, the last I checked, the Giants they're at the one or something. They should have scored. I'm not sure if they did, but the reason that's the one of all the ones to be down that might be the best is earlier this year, and it really started against Green Bay in London, but it had started before that. The Giants have been pushed as a second half team where they're scoring like 6 to 10 points in the first half and then scoring like 20 in the second. They dropped, I think it was 17 on Green Bay in a comeback and somebody else. So I don't even know if I'm guessing it's right around halftime right now. That's why it's funny I can schedule it for 2:30, and somehow I fall perfectly in line with the NFL games. They all happen to go to halftime at like the same time. Last week it worked out that way. I'm sure we got a few still playing, but you get the gist of it. It's usually like clockwork. But yeah, the last I checked, it was 14-7. Okay, cool. Steven always fills me in. Halftime across most games. Last I checked, we were looking like not good on the Giants, not great on the over for the Bills, and but a lot of games were tied. And I know I thought we were up on the Lions, down slightly, 10-4 on the Jags. So it might have changed since I checked last. So like I said, I was looking for my phone before this, and I'm like, well, instead of getting up and looking for, I don't really like having my phone on me at all times anyway. Um, hey, what's up, Greening? Brian, right? I try and remember names. Yeah, ugly. I was afraid of that, but I thought people would bet the under because of that. And Buffalo's been terrible on the over. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Had like I said, I just got on a little bit late because I was trying to get into the studio aspect. I went to YouTube Studio instead of YouTube. Yeah, Houston's winning. That one, believe it or not, I'm not like overly concerned about. There's ones that are closer that I'm more concerned about, only because I could certainly see Dallas just going on a just they're one of those teams that when if they're going to dominate, which would be the story, right? They're either going to dominate or they're not. They get the sack fumbles. They get all these like plays in one. They get big plays out of CeeDee Lamb. So I think again there's a lot of ball to be played. That one doesn't have me really like as concerned as some of the others, like the over unders, because those are more pace dictated, and it's the Cowboys. But yeah, that's not looking great. No problem, man. I appreciate you, Ryan. You're always kind. But yeah, it's that's not. I mean, I feel like a couple teams are going to really do well in the second half. That I'm hoping the Giants do and the Cowboys do. Again, I think they really want to push the NFC East in general, and that was why I took the Jets. That's also why I took the over the AFC East. I think they're trying to make a lot of the teams look very competitive with each other. I just thought the Jets would be in this game particularly because usually people pick unders on with snow with rain. I thought the over looked good, but if we can split it and get the Jets cover, that'd be fine. But yeah, I think Dallas does good in the second half. Uh, I think the Giants, like I said, the Giants, just because they've pinned them as a second half team. Oh yeah, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Last I checked, I think Baltimore was up. It was 13-7. So if that's changed, you guys can let me know. Pittsburgh's kept a lot of games close, and that's all we really want. With Atlanta, they kept it close and they won. It is 13-7. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh was made it 10-7, then they got another field goal. Okay. Yeah, it's weird. It seems like one where again, Baltimore got off to a nice start, but Pittsburgh's staying in it. And I noticed in a lot of these games this year is that they've pulled them off. Um, Jordan, I'm guessing this is you're like the only person I ever had to ban from a Discord. I don't do that, so I'm guessing this is Jay. Uh, really, I've mixed people up, but or not, freaking fire. I don't know who you go by. Is it Fire Picks on Discord? I don't remember. But whatever it is, I just don't like people talking down on others, saying they have more money, or you can't talk to me because we're trying to win together. So when I see people attacking others, I'm really liberal with in my people have literally called me a trash Zach Hubbard, and the guy didn't get banned. I was cool with him. It's when people start going after others laughing at them for losing. Look at me, I won this and you lost. I just can't have that because one toxic person turns into 50. So yeah, Jordan, if you just want to be, positive with us and like, I don't care if you want to critique me or critique whatever you want. It's just if we're gonna act like children and talking to people that way, that's the only thing I just don't like. It has nothing to do with me. If you could say whatever you want about me, just with others, I just wish it's hard to come to a Discord and you got 50 people that are just feeling like they've been attacked. But yeah, there's only been, like I said, the one occasion yesterday. There's no problem, man. It was just it reached a point where a lot of people were negative. Uh, okay, well, like I said, we could figure that out. I could talk to you in the mess. I'll talk to you privately. That way, it's fine. I'll make sure you're good. What's up, Mike? And yeah, I just want a positive. That's the whole thing. I don't care if someone comes in and says, I'm going to be wrong. People fade me every day in there, and when they get me, I always say, "Good job, good pick." It's more when someone's again, just if people are going after each other. But yeah, I'll message you privately, and you can get back in there, no problem. Yeah, it's never about. But I'd rather you attack me honestly than someone else. That's what I'm saying. Uh, but yeah, no problem, man. I'll get you back in there. But yeah, so I agree, Steven. And the one is a little weird. We might get like a push type deal, but I think we're going to win it. I can't imagine it's going to be exactly a 1 point game. But you never know. Pulse. I say we have everyone at the break now. Pittsburgh's moving. That's good, Harry. I think they're staying in it for a reason. I don't think they just had them stay in these games. Again, the Falcons is another one. I'm sure many people were on Atlanta at home in that game. Yeah, I worried about that pulse because a lot of times you do get that. You get that one game, and then everybody picks the team, and then they get, the opposite happens. I just thought, again, 17 points. I'm thinking, even if people think they just pulverized a few teams, they just killed the Colts. I feel like a lot of people do not like laying 17. So I thought, if anything, people would do the teaser and maybe go with Texans plus 24. Maybe pick Texans, for the upset, or just thinking, most occasions a team's not going to cover a 17-point spread. That was what I had going there. So Harry, if you let me go, but yeah, so that one's not looking great now. There's a couple that aren't looking great now, but they're they're we're not doing great on them, but I still like the prospects. I haven't seen what happened in the third quarter yet, but like the Giants, I'm not too worried about. Dallas, I do think, like I said, I thought they were going to more pull away in the second half, but we'll have to see what happens there. But it just depends on what narrative they push, if it's a slower or faster pace. Okay, so thank you, Mike. I was going to ask Harry which games we had going on. Bucks versus Bills. Yeah, it's weird, Mike. I don't know if you guys saw my first ever video. It was a Steph Curry video. It was why the Golden State Warriors won, and it's crazy because I went into at the time. I had seen a couple other channels, and I'm like, I literally, because I couldn't find enough people talking on it is why I made the channel. But the 4-1-3 with Steph Curry and the Warriors, I don't even know gematria that well, but it was just ridiculous how often and it's not even gematria, it was just simple numerology, but I kept seeing that number over and over and over again. So last night I literally just saw the fucking records, saw that Boston could go to 6 losses, and saw that the Golden State Warriors could go to 14-13, and they'd go to 14-13 against the spread. And sure enough, they did. So that's interesting. Yeah, if they have it at 9.5. So Is it still a 4-point game? Last I checked, it was a 4-point game, which means we were covering. But if they moved it, then Vegas is saying they think Bengals extend, or it could just be a lot of live action too. But yeah, Mike, or anyone that's watching, that first ever video is so interesting because it literally repeated last night. I mean, Celtics go to 6 losses. They showed it before the game, just like they showed the Grizzlies were going to beat the Warriors in Game 5. Remember, it said 3-2, and before the game, Golden State yesterday. Someone in my Discord showed me that it was he goes by Dr. Mike if you're here in the Discord. He showed me that it did indeed say 21-6 for the Celtics way before the game started. What's up, Sean? Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I don't know Phoenicians, Phoenix Phoenicians. It's funny. I wonder if there's a connection there too. But yeah, it's funny, Sean. The Warriors seem to be the most blatant with throwing the numerology in our face. Um, they just seem to not care. Like the Warriors, the Lakers. There's a few teams that just do not care to show the same numerology over and over and over. That's the only reason I noticed the Warriors. I wouldn't have noticed the 413 with them unless it was coming up like way too often. Okay, so the Bengals got another touchdown, 16-3. So basically, we got to hope Browns hold pace and then the 5.5 will cover, or I think it was 5, it might have been. Yeah, but yeah, so I'm hoping it's that 4 point gap where they clip people. I'm guessing a lot of people are going to be taking the Bengals, even minus the 5.5. Yeah, I didn't notice purple. So like that's what's cool, Sean. Like so Sean notices a lot of, especially because like he's more of like a historian on the stuff than I am. He really knows the team's histories. He'll notice like little details like the I didn't notice any of I even actually watched the game and I didn't really notice much of a color. I am kind of colorblind, but yeah, and I wasn't watching the whole game. I kind of just kind of peeped in and out, but I didn't notice like the purple, and I didn't notice. I'm sure a lot of people caught like I think Bill Russell got honored, so I'm sure a lot of stuff happened there. I'm sure it was really satanic, just in my opinion. Dallas at minus 9.5. I have no idea what it's at now because I know it was 17.5. So you got half my line, Phoenix. So you did a good job. Uh, see, if I didn't do the system the way I do with very rigid and very methodical, then I would 100% do live betting. It's just if I throw live betting in, it can throw off my sequence, and now I'm not playing the numbers and the metrics. I'm kind of playing in the Vegas. But some of you guys do awesome at live betting. I think they can definitely cover that 9.5. What's up? Understand boxing. I appreciate you coming, man. What's up, Internet Scratch Man? I appreciate you coming too. Uh, yeah, today wasn't, from what I can tell, it's looking like the first might split. I'm thinking we're losing more than we're winning, which is never great. So I think we'll close them out, no problem. But Philly's rolling. Okay, yeah, I thought they were going to try and push the Giants second half narrative, but we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, so missing the first wasn't like catastrophic. We didn't go I get, we had an 8-0 undefeated, not undefeated, but 8-0 streak coming into the 1 o'clock game. So I was like, okay, maybe we're due to not do perfect, but yeah, you could definitely get in on the second. I'm going to hit the 4 o'clock games. Uh, Browns and Jet. I took them too. I got to the covers at least. Especially, yeah, I appreciate the. I think I like your Pats pick because I think so many people are going to be taking the Cardinals at home. Now, both really could use a win to make their conferences interesting. So it's a tough one, but I do lean Patriots too. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, Sean. I think you are too. I mean, we can only cover so much of this stuff. So I thought I would just try and stick to the Vegas metric, not metric, just the Vegas angle and the narratives of games. But you go into so much deeper stuff, and I appreciate that, and so I appreciate how much you've helped me, and all that you always provide me insight and stuff as well, which I can use in my videos. They just got Trey Turner. Isn't it funny how in baseball they sign like a guy for 14 years? I could not watch baseball in 10 years, and then I can go back and be like, oh, they got the same. Like they've changed one player, and then I stopped watching basketball for 3 minutes, and it's like, oh yeah, LeBron's on the Rockets now, and Kyrie Irving's the owner of the Clips, and Eli Manning is going to be playing on the Lakers. It's ridiculous how much changes in basketball, how quickly these guys get traded from team to team. It just shows you it's completely set up so people they can have rivalries. Yeah, after who the Rams won. I mean, again, I call it like that's probably one of our dirtier wins, right? We definitely thought the Raiders were going to win. I'm not going to sit here and say I thought the Rams are going to win. but I did think they'd cover. But yeah, that was a ridiculous game, and so was the one before it. With the, I mean, they repeated the script with the Rams. That's why I try and do the system too because it makes it more comical to watch. I can laugh at some of my losses just because I know it's going to even out. You think all Florida teams win today? You know, it's weird. A lot of people like the Dolphins, and I think they play the Chargers. They're really pushing Tua as being. Thanks, Sean. So are you. You know, you've been genuine and honest with me from the beginning, and you always give me your honest insight with whether it's agreeing or disagreeing, which I always like. A lot of people just kind of throw out a random thought. You always actually go you have a reason for all of your assessments, which I appreciate. New York, yeah, the Jets and Giants can both win or lose. The Florida teams, so two of them keep pushing him as a quarterback who's killing it at home, but then he goes on the road and doesn't do so well. So I'm wondering, it would make it more interesting in that division, and in the AFC in general if the Chargers won. Um, Oh, thanks, Phoenix. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I get people that troll me sometimes. I think I was talking to you about the people that will like they'll post stuff and laugh at that they faded me. But yeah, no, it's more when I like the Discord to be happy and positive, and just in general my YouTube channel. So it's very rare, and if someone's making fun of me, that's fine. But if I'm supposed to be making sure our Discord's good or making sure our YouTube channel's comments good, and I see a lot of people feel like they're being attacked or trolled, they're being trolled, and I feel like, okay, like I don't want to feel like I'm enabling that in any way. But thank you, I appreciate that, Phoenix. Um, I thought, yeah. See, though, I remember you did say that double P about the trap. To me, 17 points is like never a complete trap. I could see people being on Dallas. I just felt like it was definitely going to be one where more people were. Uh, just gonna take the points, in my opinion, as bad as the team is. I just try and think of the casual better. There are smarter betters, of course, but I think more casual betters comprise of all the money being making up. Oh yeah, they're making Zion. Then they have him dunk on the Suns and like really get him all riled up and stuff. That was interesting. Cowboys, I'll be honest. I've been way off on the AFC South. I'm not sure how the Jets just scored. All right, cool. We have the Jets covering. I doubt the overhits, but you never know. But yeah, the Jags, they've been spoiling. Every time I pick them, they don't seem to cover. I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Double P. Either way, it wasn't a great pick by me, but I just don't know if it was a trap. I think he covers too. I picked him to cover because I think he's going to, again, I think they have to get Purdy. I don't think Brady's losing to Mr. Irrelevant, okay? That being said, I think they're going to push Mr. Irrelevant, but it's going to take some time to get this guy, quote, acquainted with the system. So I think Brady definitely covers a 3.5, but people are still going to be hot on San Francisco because Brady had that comeback, but he's not looking great. The team's not looking awesome. San Francisco's looking great no matter who's at quarterback. So I do like the Bucks to cover as a leg two even. So like if say the Browns doesn't hit whatever, my next leg is going to be Bucks. Dolphins, yeah, you never know with the Dolphins. Jimmy, yeah, yeah. I know Jimmy is out. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Herbert. If it was at home, I'd 100% pick the Dolphins. I think if they win, it'll be close. Is the only thing. So I'm just not sure. But yeah, that one he could do it. It's just I remember they took 8-1 at home, and yeah, I think the Chargers money line. I like that play better just because I think more people are going to be on Tua, and again, just from what I've noticed, I keep saying how great he is at home. Oh, Jacksonville just broke up. So who scored the touchdown? I'm guessing on Tampa. That'd be interesting, Mike. See, I've used Gematria before, so I don't know if you guys know, but the Bucks played on 103, which I believe is TB, because someone told me, and I looked up TB, and I believe it came out to 103, and they lost on 103 and on 1030. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work. People have shown me Gematria work. It's just when I try and use just Gematria, I wind up splitting. But I'm hoping you're right. When Gematria happens to also favor narratives and metrics and other things I believe, then of course, I try and give more credence. I just feel like when I just use gematria, I could find both sides. Yeah, I just hope the Jets cover. 10 points. I think a lot of people, even this is one where even if the public was on the Jets, I feel like they're going to still tell their narrative because they're going to make money in all the other games. So I'd say the public is about even on this game, but I do think there's a good chance that the Jets should cover. Who knows? Maybe they win. I think after they beat Buffalo, everyone just took Buffalo this time, assuming, well, division's always split. And I noticed this year they've been having multiple, like the team when San Francisco won twice. It's happened with a lot of them. Duval. Okay, Duval County. I'm in. I'm by Tampa, and I like Florida. I've been basically all over, and definitely worse places to be. Yeah, the refs. I know 17 and a half. Yeah, the refs make a big difference. I think they're part of it. I think there's so many different aspects, but the refs make a big. They can do it. It's some guy, a pro, came out and said you need the captains, the coaches, and the refs. That's all you really need. I did not hear about Paul Silas' death, but yeah, a lot of times someone will die and they'll have some kind of celebration. Oh, a touchdown for us was called back, of course. Tennessee seems to kill me every single time, and that division in general. I'm gonna look into basketball in a minute. I know they're like 6 o'clock, so I want to make sure we get them out. I don't know if they're gonna be a finals team. They could be. I think they really want to push them, and they might do it again tonight because I think a lot of people are gonna be on Phoenix to get their win back, and I think it makes sense to have Pelicans pulverize them again. And I just don't know. I think the Pelicans might be like this year's Phoenix, where actually I think Phoenix is still going to have the best record in the West again. I don't know why, but I do. But I think both of them are going to be, along with the Warriors, I think all three are red herrings. I like the Clippers or the Blazers. Uh, yeah, they might do that. It'd be crazy, Sean, if they did the same thing with the scores again, but with Florida teams. It's definitely possible. I could see that kind of score with the Bucks game way easier than the Dolphins. Even with as bad as Herbert plays, sometimes they have a good way of getting them some points. What's up, Cricket? Yeah, so the Broncos, yeah, I do like the over on the Broncos. If I didn't go into it yet, I always like, especially how bad they're like 1-10 this year. So I do like them. Now it didn't work out for Buffalo, but again, they're like three. At least they got three overs. Denver's got one, so I think they're two lower than the next team. So I think so many people are going to be picking the under going forward. I do like the over too. All right. Hopefully Pittsburgh gets something done. Like I said, that one. I think most money was on Baltimore, even without Lamar. The Bucks, yeah, they're gonna make. They're gonna. I think they might barely make the playoffs and then look hot, but then losing the championship or something. But that's definitely what I'm thinking. They're gonna do something to make the Bucks look good towards the end. Yeah, Tennessee. I've noticed that. The thing is, I just always seem to just miss them. Fumble Houston, Buffalo, Giants in the red zone. That's good. Boy, it always seems to happen at the same time, doesn't it? It's always our teams. So they're all in the red zone at the same time. I find that interesting. Yeah, hopefully Phoenix. Hopefully we can get another one. It's rough. A 50-yarder called back. Buffalo. Yeah, that makes sense that they win and don't cover Sean. I think a lot of people would. No, no, I'm from Jersey, Phoenix. So I was born in Philly. I live in like Tampa now, Sean. So like if you know guys know where Hernando is, that's exactly where I live. It's like Spring Hill. It's a small little suburb outside of Tampa. I grew up in South Jersey, right outside of Willingboro, and I like both. It's just I haven't the food's nice up north, but there's a lot of shit down here that I can go to different places and I can just do a lot of stuff that I'm not able to. It's crazy. I went out to Nevada and it was fun, but it's just a lot of stuff that like is normal in Florida is not normal out in Nevada, and vice versa. I did not know Kobe's son was playing for the Suns. I did know that there's a cornerback in the who's Kobe? Oh, yeah, you talking about Booker? Or did he like son Booker? Um, but because Booker said he wanted to be like Kobe, I think. But there is a Kobe Bryant who plays cornerback in the NFL. I think that's kind of funny. His name is actually Kobe Bryant. G-man, did they score? Or they just in the red zone. 11s could definitely hit. They love hitting those numbers pulse, the ones, the threes, a lot of times the fours. But yeah, they love to hit like those 4 1s, whatever they could do. Oh, Seattle. So I like the Seattle spread. I think this is a casualty game. There's not going to be a ton of money on Carolina to cover, in my opinion. I do like the Seattle money line for sure, but they haven't really looked great in a while, and I think they need to make them look good because it's going to be really them or the Giants slash Commanders for that last seed. So I think they do need Seattle to look really good. I think this would be the game. They just make Carolina a casualty. Dallas is in the red zone. That'd be nice. No, I didn't see it, but I'm sure they're doing everything they can to either keep the under hitting or whatever they got to do for that Texan or Titans game because it seems like there's a lot of stuff happening in the Titans Jags. Okay, Bills scored. So what's that? 7-7. Because what last I checked it was 0-0. Yeah, you called the Sean. You called. I remember you called Pickett, and then when he came in, literally before he came in, how he was going to do good. What's up, Sebastian? That's my friend from real life, Sebastian. How you doing, man? I I freaking he has his own channel. If you guys want to subscribe, he puts out really good music. We used to hang out all the time together. But yeah, and Sebastian, I was like, man, Sebastian, I was so happy that you found my channel. That was awesome, man. I hope you're doing well, dude. I have your number still. I texted you. I'm not sure if it changed, but let me know. I don't have Facebook or Twitter or any of that anymore. I just had to get rid of it. But yeah, if it hasn't, I can like message you on Discord or something. We can hook up. I've been wanting to get in touch with you. Uh, Giants touchdown. All right, nice. Hopefully they cover. Like I said, they've been pushing the Giants as a second half team all year long, where they come out in the first half and they're just garbage or just average, and then in the second half, all of a sudden they're playing. And Daniel Jones looking like George Blanda. Uh, one week, he can't get the edge, and the next week he's outrunning linebackers who run four fives. But I'll take it. That's why I took them this week. I'm hoping they can pull it off. Uh, oh, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm still so you can message me at that number, and I appreciate it, man. I've been wanting to hang out with you. I always, you're always one of the cooler people to me, and I appreciate that. It's cool that we hooked up on YouTube of all places. That's funny, because like I said, I don't have Facebook or any of that stuff anymore. For the so a lot of people like the Dolphins. I like the Chargers because they keep pushing this year how Tua is a great home quarterback. Then he lost in San Francisco, which is understandable, but he just has not been great on the road. So I think they're going to have him. He's got a couple road games coming up. I think at best he splits them, and then they're going to have him look really, really good at home. Uh, that's for Sean. Yeah, I'm going to go to the NBA. I wanted to hit the NFL and hit my 4 o'clock games, which actually I'm going to hit my fours in a second. So obviously you guys know who I have on the Chargers, but I can go into them all. Like I said, if you could just, um, I know some of the spreads can vary, but the last I checked, the spread should all be the same. So I am going to hit them. I'll hit the night game as well. Yeah, it'd be nice if the Lions could score. I think they were up, or unless the Vikings made it, tied it or something. Fake punt. Oh, did they? And they got it. They got in the red zone with a fake punt. That's funny. Eagles money line, Giants cover. Yeah, hopefully you clip it. A lot of times it's nice to clip them like that when you're getting that many points. Yeah, it'd be interesting, Pulse. I think a Giants comeback would be a good narrative to sell people on the entire NFC East. They drew the Commanders, then they come back on the Eagles, then they play the Commanders. What if they win, or what if the Commanders win? It doesn't matter who wins. It just makes the entire division look strong. Nice, good job. Yeah, Jones. I actually said in my last video, I said, it's been like 2 weeks since this guy's looked like Michael Vick. He's going to score a touchdown. I don't know. I just because they love this dude. They make him and Tannehill. There's another guy. They make him run and beat edges and stuff that he should not be able to beat. Yeah, it's funny when Barkley's on the team and Daniel Jones is somehow running better than him, right? And Tannehill does it too sometimes, but yeah, I took Jones for that reason. I'm hoping they can come back and cover. I'm not even sure the score on that game. Jag scored. That's good, and the Bills scored, so that's not good. I have no idea what the scores even are. So if you guys can update me, uh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I like it too. The double P. I like it for both conferences, to be honest. I like the AFC East and the NFC East getting in. They turned it over on downs, so that one's probably not going to cover. It looks like the pace is leaning to a closer game. Bills are up. Okay, so right now we're pushing that one. But yeah, I do think the Giants get in, and I do think the Commanders get in as well. I think the Seahawks are going to be the casualty. I think they win today, but I think they're going to be the one who gets booted because of that draw. I think they're going to have a draw between the Commanders and Giants be the difference maker, and that's going to be why they get in. They'll have the draw, except the seventh loss or whatever loss Seattle has. I'm gonna guys give me 1 second because it's kind of bothering me. I'm not one of those people who always needs my phone, but I did think I had it nearby, and I have no clue what any of the scores are. And if I go to check them, it's going to kick me out of YouTube. So I don't know if I just. Oh, here we go. All right, now I can check the scores and look into basketball. Oh, good. The Jags are doing good for us. Okay. Um, I always pick wrong on the Titans, so I was just expecting to lose that game. and it's nice to be up on that one. Let's check Bengals Browns. We're down 10 here, and Cincinnati's looking pretty good. So we just had to punt it. So Browns not looking great, nor is the Texans. But yeah, Lions looking good. I thought that was the trap of the century. That's why I made it a second leg. They scored again. I'm telling you, like this is just nuts. And I'm telling you, people probably took Minnesota on teasers, and 80% of public teasers and parlays are just got squashed. There's no reason, and I don't. Anything could happen. They could come back, but I just don't think there's any reason that the Lions ever should have been a 2 point, 3 point favorite, whatever they were. I got them at 2.5. I just think it's a complete joke. It just shows, and I was actually worried about a reverse trap. That's how ridiculous it was. Yeah, golf. Whenever he wants to, he lights it up. Chark Jr., Williams. They have guys who can do it. St. Brown, but they're just sellers. But they'll come out and look great too. Yeah, and I think Watson. They might give him a nice. Again, I think they might want to push a rivalry here because they didn't play. So you'd think they'd want to have fans going into the offseason like, oh, they had a pretty good duel. They had some, yeah, that's what I thought too, Sean. I thought I had the cover at least because I think they don't want to just make them look like knock them out of the playoffs right now. I think they want to keep it interesting, especially if Pittsburgh wins. It makes it really interesting. No, no, I don't think the Lions make the playoffs, but I think they show that they're like the Jets. I think the Jets do, but I think they show that they're a young, hungry team, and they're not in the category of the Panthers who are need a complete rebuild. They're in the they're more in the category of like a Cardinals, where they just need a couple things and they could be an elite team. Yeah, Watson got a bunch of money, so I feel like yeah they might punish him for getting suspended and all his massagery things or whatever he did. He's going to pay some kind of penance a little bit. Maybe he doesn't look great. They're not going to take a big draw. They're not going to take someone that's they got that much money invested in and just ruin them. Some people they do. I mean, Rodgers got a big contract and they made him look silly, but I don't think that's their goal to just sign someone and make them look like a clown. Are you talking about last week or are you talking about this week going into next week? Either way, it's interesting. I remember they had the Christmas game up. I picked it. I picked the Knicks, like literally, because they took them. But if you guys remember in my Discord, I told the Christmas game was up. The Knicks are 3.5 point underdogs against the Celtics. So tell me how that makes sense. But I saw it. It looks like a trap. Everyone's going to take Boston. And I think New York wins, and that's why I have them as a play-in team this year. Those little things, they're not coincidences. No, so let's roll. I'm not. I was like I said, if you watched it last night, I was leaning for Denver to cover. For that game, I much prefer just taking the over, but I also like Mahomes. Um, Obviously, Russell. There's that prospect of having a Russell versus Mahomes duel, but he's not suddenly going to throw 4 touchdowns. They haven't shown anything like that. He's been a jobber all year. So just like Brady did, I think it makes sense for Russell to put over Mahomes, and to put him over, to win's not putting him over because winning is what they're expected to do. I think he pummels them. So I actually like Kansas City minus the 9. Uh, I'm not rolling with Russ. I try to be fair about it, and I just think way more people are going to be. Denver kept it to a 1 point game at Baltimore. People know they have a stingy defense, so I think people might believe that Denver could keep Kansas City under 20 points and score 10 themselves. So yeah, public money has Bengals. Yeah, that's another thing. It depends on what source you use. Some people use really good sources. They seem to be accurate. If it's definitely accurate on the public handle, that's good. But yeah, I love fading the public. Mike F and White. I don't even know why they started that because they started it and then they pulled the plug on it like 3 days later. So maybe they just realized, yeah, Flacco versus the Ravens is a better draw if they get into the playoffs versus Mike F and White. I didn't know that, Sean. I know like Dan Snyder does, and like he uses it for leverage. Like other owners, I didn't know Watson did, but if he does, yeah, he can use it. Players use it just like the owners, just like the NFL uses it. So, it's definitely not a love relationship they have with each other. Texans are winning. Yeah, they're up 4 last I checked. I don't know if they extended that lead, but that one I didn't pick a money line. So basically, it's basically lost outside of some kind of ridiculous shenanigans in our favor. December 18th. Okay, yeah. So it's weird they have that out. I'm not sure why. Uh, again, they probably don't make sense. I'm curious how much they change. I need to pay more attention to that. What they open and close as makes a big difference. Oh, you're saying they're going to win, Sean. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, very good chance. Yeah, exactly. If it's a close handle, they'll even if it's a handle on a particular game going 70-30, if they can get that money back by killing a parlay like the Vikes, they're going to tell their narratives. That's the thing. So, okay, since he scored, so the Cleveland one's not looking good. Yeah, it's been favoring Cincy. Okay, so that's so Brown fans are going to be mad. Blaming the refs, which they are the ones doing it. But it looks like it might be a game where the Bengals look really, really good. I thought it'd be closer. We still have some football to play, but it should be interesting to see what they do going forward if they do continue to get destroyed. I agree. I agree, Sean. The Chiefs have a good defense. That's people don't understand. It's not just Pat. It's not like something's got to give. The Chiefs have a great offense and a great defense, whereas the Broncos just have a great defense. I think he just puts. I think Russell puts over Zach. Or not Zach. I saw Zach in the. I think Russell puts over Pat. Yeah, Zach 69 mile. I think he's the more marketable one. Philly scored. That's not. That's. I think that. What's that? Put him up 14 or something. Um, we need seven there, or do we need? Oh, actually, no, we need 10. Okay, we might be able to get the seven. I'm not sure. Uh, yeah, Zach. I think is way more marketable than any of the other guys. The other thing that makes sense to me was Flacco versus the Ravens if they make it to the playoffs. But I think they do just like Mac Jones to the Patriots. I think the fans hate him, but they like him more than most. Texans upper six, okay. Super Bowl, my preseason predict well, no, not preseason. There was like going into the season, but basically once I started seeing what they were doing, it's been Baltimore versus Flacco. Is Flacco in? I didn't even know Flacco was in. Oh yeah, Mike White. Someone said he was hurt. Um, Yeah, okay, so that's not great. My Super Bowl prediction was Ravens, Niners, Niners win. Jimmy G comeback story. Now, now it's interesting because I still like the Niners to win it, but now you got the Jimmy G comeback story and Mr. Irrelevant on the same team. So just when I thought the NFL or couldn't one up themselves, they take the Jimmy G comeback guy and they literally get Mr. Irrelevant. So I'm not sure which one they're going to push. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jimmy. And then maybe they do the same thing with Purdy, where he does pretty good this season, but then doesn't get the ring. He gets it, but he doesn't win it. Moves to another team. Maybe they'll just repeat the cycle. I don't know, but I do think the Niners win. This week, I like Tampa to cover. Um, it'd be interesting. I brought it up before if Brady played the Bills, right? Like because Bill Belichick. It'd be really interesting if Brady played the Bills. I could see there being money on the Jets in this game. Like I said, on some of them, I feel like there's going to be public money on the team regardless, but they're going to tell a narrative. I didn't think it was going to be heavily, heavily in the favor of the Jets because people are going to respect Buffalo. But I did think people were going to be on the Jets. I saw it at 10. I thought maybe it moved to 10.5. Hopefully, I got 10.5. Yeah, Texans. Well, didn't they get someone? Someone told me. Now they were referring to basketball. Did Brittany Griner play for Houston? Because I swear somebody told me watch Houston, but they were referring to basketball. And and now the Texans are winning. I don't know if she did, but it'd be interesting if she did. I saw the Vikings touchdown. It's funny, Steven, because I was bringing up yesterday. I brought it up yesterday. I said it's funny how when guys like Jefferson do really good, guys like Thielen look like garbage. Sure enough, Thielen's the guy who just scored, so I guess he shut me up. But that does happen. You'll see a ridiculous drop off in one guy when another guy, like another, especially receivers, when another one starts doing good. What I do like is, yeah, Jags is looking safe, which I did not love that game. I'm not gonna be honest. Yeah, he's hurt, but he's conveniently. Yeah, I think it was fake. Exactly. I think it was fake because conveniently he's gonna be ready for what the championship, the Super Bowl. They said 7, 8 weeks. That could happen, Sean. I'd be shocked if they just had Pat put over Brady again in the Super Bowl. If anything, I would think they'd have Allen do it this time. I do see a lot of the numerology leaning for Brady, the 83 being his birthday in the Super Bowl, and a lot more. But I would think it'd be Brady versus the Bills or something before I would think. But it could be Chiefs. It could be a rematch. I mean, if it drew, people are going to buy it again. Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I don't know. I didn't pick it because I thought it was like, oh, this is too good to be true. I picked the 17 for the opposite reason. I thought people were going to be taking the 17, even with as good as Dallas played. People that play lines and look back at historical things, would look and like see, okay, how many times has the 17 been covered? And it really hasn't been covered much in history. This guy, he used in my he used to always comment. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm trying to remember his name now, but he'd always comment, and he went over the historical trend of like plus 14 or more, and usually it doesn't work out. So I thought a lot of people were going to take the points. Bills minus 10. Well, I mean, oh, you mean live or before the? I mean, like I said, always do what your gut is telling you. So whatever I have, I just give you the best advice I can. It's up 10. Okay. So right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's 10 or 10 and a half. Someone else said 10 and a half earlier, or I think you might have. So I'm not sure, but I think it was 10 when I locked it. Maybe that one pushes, so they clip people. I'm not sure. Yeah, Sean. I think they did that on purpose with Jim Kelly, right? Losing 4 in a row. Like, what are the odds? I just think, and it kind of shows how blatant they are about it. And people will be happy enough they made it, but it's just the fact that they do those blatant things. What's up, Jay Smooth? I appreciate you coming in. I think now is a good time because I didn't really go over them specifically yet. We were just more recapping the games. Looking like a split right now. We got a push, losing on the Browns, losing on the Texans, winning on the Jags and Lions, losing on the Giants, and then we got the Steelers driving. So, I mean, it's all looking pretty, a lot of them in play, two losing bad, two winning good. So, nothing crazy. But I wanted to go over to the 4 o'clock games. Oh, okay. Niners and Dolphins spread. Nervous. Well, I like that. So, I do have the opposite on both, to be quite honest. But, as you can see, I haven't done perfect today. So, if that's any indication. The games I like is I do like Kansas City to pummel Denver. I think people are going to just take Denver to cover like they did against Baltimore. And I think this is going to be Mahomes' game where he just looks nuts, where he just goes crazy. He's had good games like that, but he hasn't blown a lot of teams out. Yeah, I do like I'll go into why I like the Chargers and the Bucks. It's not I don't absolutely love them. I do like them though. But yeah, so I like that. What I like more than the Chiefs cover is the over on that game because Broncos are 1-10 on under overs this year. So I'm gonna make it a leg two. Actually, I'm gonna make it a leg three because my leg two, if you guys follow the sequences, you'll know I made the Bills Jets over, did not hit. So I'm gonna double up, make it a leg three, Denver over. I really believe that game goes over. That's my strongest 4 o'clock play. So we'll see how that ages. Yeah, the Lions look like the biggest trap in the world. I got them covering the two, 2.5, whatever it was. Maybe it moved to 3. I still think they cover that, but I just can't imagine they're going to pay that many people, that many people off at the Vikings. So yeah, 3.5 hasn't moved, which is weird. Usually they'll move it to 3, 4, try and get some action. So that tells me they're going to tell this story no matter how, like they're going to tell it no matter what. It hasn't moved since it opened, I believe, which is very odd for a primetime game. So looking at that, I still like the Bucks to cover. I think they're going to get Purdy quote acquainted with the offense. Um, so if I had to, I would also take the under. But I like the Bucks to cover 3.5, and I think the Niners still look good, but they're going to be showing how they're actually moved to 1.5. Oh, I moved it. Okay, I thought they kept moving it. Maybe it looks so obvious they moved the other way. That's all I can think of. Mitch Trubisky, yeah, he can be pretty bad. Um, but yeah, so the Lions, it just looked like a trap to me. But I think the Niners could very well win by 3, but they're gonna have the Bucks again, look pretty good because it's Mr. Irrelevant versus Brady, and I just don't think Brady's gonna put over Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah, you definitely could, and that's what I'm wondering. If they win, do they win by 3.5, more than 3.5? That's the only thing I don't know. So they might have him win. They want to make him look good either way, because whether next year he's on their team or not, they're gonna push Mr. Irrelevant. I just don't know if he beats Brady and covers on him. Bucks have been really bad against the spread. Again, it's not always an indicator, but typically your playoff teams, and I think they will be a playoff team, they finish better than like 30, 40% against the spread. So that's just a couple of the reasons I like them. But again, uh, yeah, they're at home. There's a lot of things to look at. I think the money might be about even because you don't have Jimmy G. So it's not one I love, but I did. And so Jay Smooth likes the spread on San Francisco. That's who he has. I don't love the game, but I'm taking the Bucks to cover. I just think 2-1. So you can make it 22 or 3-1. What number do you think they like more? They like them both. But yeah, I do slightly lean the Bucks on that one. I do like the Bucks to cover, uh, just because I feel like Purdy's going to play good. I just don't think he's going to go nuts. Okay, the Jags scored. That's nice. I wish it was like another team because we're winning that one by so much. And then the last one, I wanted to actually, it's the second to last one. It's the Seahawks. I do think the Seahawks cover. Yeah, the money line's pretty good, double P. It's a little risky, but if you're trying to get a better value, then obviously it's a nice way to go. I just feel like the cover's a little safer in case of the 3-point game. Yeah, I did. It's really been the same thing. I've been really accurate with Tua this year. At home, I've been picking them, and on the road, I've been fading them, and that's basically what they've been pushing, is that he can't win on the road. Not even win. He just doesn't do great on the road. So last week it was kind of more of the same, and I think this week it'll be more of the same. I think the fact that Tua is like a Superman at home, and by the way, they don't play till week 16 at home, but then they got three in a row at home, and they got the Jets at home week 18. I think a loss here keeps the division more open, keeps the entire conference more open, and fits the narrative that he's better at home. Uh, yeah, they got a banged up D. They got banged up receivers, but I mean, they still somehow explained away Herbert slicing up whoever. Who was it last week? The Rams. So it was whoever they played a couple last week or 2 weeks ago. Mike Williams was out, and Keelan before Keenan Allen came back, and their backups just went nuts. So the injuries they can explain them away, and they definitely could explain why Tua is doing awesome. I just don't know why they keep going out of their way to say at home they're 8-1. At home he does this. At home he's got 300 versus 220. It's just really weird when they keep showing the that. So that's why I took them at home, or the Chargers at home to cover. But I don't. Again, these aren't games I absolutely love. I feel like this is a rough 4 o'clock schedule. Bucks, yeah. So the 7-6 I saw before too. Yeah, 6 and 7 is me. That's the thing. It was like the Warriors yesterday. I was like, well, they could go 14 and 13, but technically they can go 13 and 14. The reason I liked 14 and 13 was because the spread also made them 14 and 13. The 152 is interesting. So you think he stays on 52 maybe? Um, wow, 3 picks. Yeah, the Steeler would have been a nice one. That one again, I don't think it was a crazy trap, but I think way more on Baltimore, even without Lamar. So that's the reason I did like Pittsburgh. The one I had not gone into, I went into it a little bit ago. Yeah, so we got so far is I like personally. I just went over obviously why I like the Chargers to cover and why I like the Bucks to cover. But I do like the Seattle Seahawks to cover. I think that's a hopefully they score, Steven. That'd be nice. I think the Seahawks is not a trap game. I think it's a casualty game. Not going to be a ton of action on that game versus the others. So it's a perfect game for them to make that Seattle make an example out of Carolina, and just go nuts. So I'm going to make Denver over a leg 3. That's how much I like that game. We don't have a ton of open sequences, but I am going to make that cover I just told you, Seattle -4. I am going to make that a leg 2. I'm not going to make the Bucks a leg 2 because with an injured quarterback, I just feel like we can have better plays. But I am making the Broncos and Chiefs over. I'm playing that leg 3, and I'm playing leg 2 for the Seahawks -4. I think Gino looks good. I think their defense looks good. And those are all the fours. To round it off would just be, yeah, that's it. Dolphins Charge. Yeah, so that's all the fours. We only got the 3 games, and then tonight the Dolphins Chargers. So I can go into NBA. The Bucks money line looks too easy. Let's see if. Oh, no problem. That's just who I have. A lot of people don't have the Bucks, which I understand, or the Chargers, which I understand. I just think they both cover because, yeah, the Niners are nasty. I haven't won the Super Bowl, so I'm certainly not sleeping on them. I just think I try and think of all the metrics going into basketball. Oh, one game starts in 7 minutes. Thank goodness. 'Cause I don't know why I thought it was 6. Um, we don't have Devin Booker. We don't have Cameron Johnson, and the Pels are 3.5 point favorites. Now, typically, I'd probably pick the Suns. This is a cigarette. I gotta quit. I'm actually doing a lot better though. I used to freaking smoke like a pack and a half. I'm down to like 6 to 7 cigarettes a day. I gotta get it lower though, because I gave myself like a respiratory thing just by smoking. It's stupid. Um, no coup. Oh, did he score for the Browns? Nice. Hopefully they can get that closer. Um, so yeah, normally I would take the Pels. I have not. I don't know. Is that where you put the stuff under your tongue? I never tried that. I just like an idiot. I was smoking one day, and then I started smoking. I just caught on, and then I did it. Um, yeah, I need to honestly just quit. To be honest, it's just so bad. All this shit. Like I'm waking up, you get shit in your mouth. All that bad stuff. Your my. I'm sure none of it's good for the bronchial tubes and all that. But yeah, I just gotta quit. So the Pels. Yeah, let's lock that one in. We got 5 minutes. So normally I take I would think without Booker, Publics are going to be on the Pels, and it'd be really smart to take the Suns, and it'd be going back and forth. But I think people are thinking that it might be going back and forth, and I think the Pels just steamroll them again, and they'll explain because Booker's out. So I actually do like the Pels to cover the 3.5. I do think Houston's money line, right? Could you imagine? Um, I mean, they could. Like I said, I think Griner played for Houston. I could be wrong. I thought somebody told me that. But yeah, so I do think the Pels cover. So if you guys want to play that as a leg one, yeah, I like the Pelicans to cover. I do. I think you have four. Okay, well, I think they're given the points. Seahawks. If you're getting 3.5, take it. It doesn't make much of a difference, but it could. Um, Lions. They're just pack. It's like the teams we have winning are packing it on, but the teams we're losing are packing it on too. Outside of the Browns, which is nice. Uh, but yeah, anything that's tobacco free, I would like. Like I said, I don't think I'd have that hard of a time cold turkeying. I've done it before, and then I just picked up like an idiot. And then the second I start feeling shitty again, I can do I cold turkey again. But I could check that out for sure, see if it helps more. Yeah, but yeah, if you can do the Seahawks minus 3.5, I would take it. Yeah, a couple times. I took mushrooms a couple times, acid a couple times, DMT once. Uh, Yeah, it wasn't like to quit was the problem. I took it more for like to just get a lot of anxiety, more of and demons of anxiety and stuff addressed, and it did help me in that regard. I try and do it about once, twice a year with the mushrooms. I think it's a good medicine for someone to take. Yeah, one time. Yeah, my friend. So not to ramble too much, but my friend he dosed me, and he said, so I have seizures, but I'm able to move around while I'm having them, and it's a weird thing. The doctor said it's a phenomenon. And my friend, he dosed me, and he's like, "You're gonna want to let's sit back." Like as I'm going through the trip, and you're moving so fast, you feel like you're on a ride, but there's nothing holding you. And I started walking around and shit. And I guess you're not even supposed to be able to stand up on DMT, let alone walk around. So my brain's just fucking weird. I don't like not being in control. So I kind of fought it, but I did see a lot of weird shit. And afterwards, I was like thinking like way quicker and stuff. I know, right? No, but, no, I think, there's, good shit and bad shit. I don't think I would do DMT again. I don't think it's bad. It's just anything that's been altered. But mushrooms is something that I think is good. Cannabis, I think is good. I didn't see a bunch of flying elves. It was like I was in a tunnel. It was like all red around me, and it was just like like I was literally just being blasted somewhere, and like all these like little floating things. You can't really make them out, but you're thinking the whole time like, I wonder if the reason this I'm depressed is because of this. They proved in the '70s that medical psilocybin mushrooms was helping people so tremendously that they basically had to run a smear campaign to shut it down. I see. Well, I have a RSO pen, Rick Simpson oil. This is really the only thing I use anymore. It's literally just it's full plant extract. Actually, this is pretty low. I'm almost out. But this actually, I like it. It's not the highest THC, but it's got a good bit in there. And the reason I like this is it's got CBD in it, THN, TBD, all these different chemicals that, yeah, it's Zen mode. It calms my nerves, but at the same time, it does things like it literally deters cancer cells from growing. The guy who made this oil, his name is Rick Simpson. You can look him up. He made it to treat his own cancer, so it's pretty cool. I'm the biggest advocate for medical cannabis. But yeah, so I like the Pelicans to cover. I think a lot of people are just going to assume that goes back and forth. And since the Suns won, then the Pels won. I think people think the Suns are going to win. So it's been diagnosed. I have autism, J Smooth. So I have a lot of. It's like I tell people autism is like a cocktail of of every annoying anxiety, depression, OCD, all that shit in one. Insomnia. So I was prescribed this for seizures for my autism, but there's a lot of other things I have. I have Crohn's, things like that that it helps with. But yeah, I had to basically self-diagnose, then get to an actual autistic doctor. It's an autistic specialist. She gave me the test. I got like a 44, a 30 says you're definitely on the spectrum. So they figured it out after just saying it was ADHD for about 2 decades. Uh, yeah, that's the thing. You need to trust the people you're with. You need so whenever I would trip, I had a rule. I wouldn't be with anybody because there was nobody I trusted quite enough. I did trust one friend that grew them, so I would get them off him. And when I did them, I would do them with friends sometimes. I did DMT with a friend, but it was usually just me. My dog. He was my dog, and I knew my dog had positive vibes. I'm talking about my literal dog, not my friend. Um, well, he was my friend, but yeah, best dog ever. And anytime I did something that was like mushrooms, acid, I knew if it was just me and my dog, there'd be no problem. So if that helps anybody who's doing that kind of stuff, mushroom, acid, DMT, DMT, I do recommend having someone who has tried DMT be in there with you. Lakers, I'm not staying away from. Is it manageable? Yeah, yeah, it's 100% manageable. So I always say it's not a disease that needs to be cured, but just imagine, a brain wired differently that reacts differently. Like that's why I keep darker in here. Something as simple as that sun shining on, like shining and hitting my eyes a certain way, can actually over in 2 hours, the room will be spinning. I'll have vertigo and I'll feel like I'm gonna have a seizure. Uh, so there's little, just tiny things like that having autism does, and I'm not trying to complain, but those are just the things that little things, the sensory overload, sometimes taking sarcasm as literal little things. I'm better at that kind of stuff. I had to learn, but there's a lot of things that it just gets misconstrued, and it can definitely make you know the way I perceive things differently. Yeah, thanks, Jay Smooth. There's people on the spectrum that are fortunate, and depending on how some people can't function, can't even move. That and it's sad, because people just write them off as people that will never make it. But it just takes I think, proper teaching and understanding of how different brains are wired. Yeah, I know it's a couple of these spreads have to be. So yeah, so the Cowboys is dead. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these are leg ones, which is good. I know we lost. It looks like we're going to lose the over Bills leg two. Actually, we don't need too much, but it looks like we're going to lose that. And if it's still looking bad in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's when we can lock in the Denver over for leg three. I do see the Browns are kind of sneakily hanging in there. Uh, they might just miss though and cover by 6 and not the 5. Lions looking good. Thanks, David. I've been called a walking anomaly before. It's funny because it's just because all the different weird things I have in combination, and I think a lot of it is just basically. I had a stroke when I was born. I'm blind in my left eye, so that's why I have a lazy eye. Uh, and I think it's all connected. Like all my autism, all that shit's connected together. So it's like a bunch of different shit, and people are the medical shit that I stopped going to doctors because it was like, not that they weren't helping me, but there was nothing they could do at a certain point. It's just like you have all this shit, you got to deal with it, or you can get a specialist for everything in the world. So I honestly have noticed tea, cannabis, uh, just eating well, those kind of things. My diet should be better. It was good for a while, where I was just intaking, good stuff, chicken breast, eggs, that kind of stuff. Then I kind of got off of it. I've been eating more fast food and stuff lately. That's a really good point. I feel like we are smart enough to be able to. Yeah, the Pelicans are leg one. So that's gonna be a leg one. The only leg two. I'm doing a leg three for the Denver over. And if I said leg two, I don't know if I did. I think but for basketball, they're gonna be leg ones for now. So I'm gonna go into leg twos. Yeah, and yeah, I feel like if like me, I was smoking a ton of cigarettes. Like even now, if you see me smoke a few, you don't understand how bad it was. I gave myself a respiratory thing, And the doctors were all like, I called my doctor, and he literally would not see me unless I got this emergency $200 COVID test. So I'm like, fuck that. I know I have an upper respiratory infection or bronchitis. You can feel where it is. We're not stupid. So sure enough, I had to self medicate. I just got Robitussin, I got tea, and I completely stopped cigarettes for like 3 days. I didn't smoke one fucking cigarette, and it went away. It was that simple, you know. But this guy wasn't even going to take me in unless I got a COVID test for $200, and then went to him just because I told him I was having issues with my bronchial passages. I said I'm probably got bronchitis or an upper respiratory thing, and yeah, they didn't even want to see me. That was the last time I saw a doctor. So a lot of them just I don't know what it is, but I feel like we know when shit's wrong, and we know when we can fix ourselves. So I don't want to offend the people, but in my opinion, yes, the man should be prosecuted. At the very least, he's lied about. The man did write an entire essay on why masks were the reason most people got bronchial pneumonia and died during the Spanish flu, and now he's saying that people need to wear masks or they should be persecuted. The same person. So for that alone, I just don't understand. I think at the least he should be investigated, and if he's innocent, he's innocent. And they should be investigated too. I'll be the first to admit, cigarette companies, they lied for years before I was born, to people. But they all should. Me neither. Never got diagnosed grinning. And the only time I actually felt sick was dumb shit that I did to myself, not being healthy, not exercising, smoking cigarettes, all that crap. That's the stuff. Yeah. So Seahawks. I'm sorry. I did say that, and I am playing that one as a leg two. I'm gonna lock mine in a second. I'm playing the Seahawks as a leg two to cover. That's good. It's gonna be 4 unit. It depends on how you play it. I do 1, 2, 4 because you need 4 to get back your 1 and 2, but you can do the 3. That's like a Fibonacci sequence, so that's fine too. But I do think that the Seahawks cover the spread. I would make that a second, and I would make the other one a 4. The Raiders. I don't know why they're doing the Raiders bad. Next year the Super Bowl's in Las Vegas, so I do think there's a good chance that they uh, they do something next year. Maybe Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is just not the guy. Yeah, that's the other thing. It created such a thing where people, yeah, the jobs is bad enough, where it's like get this or you're going to be fired. I just don't think that should be the case with anything. That's just how I feel. Now, again, I have autism, and I believe my autism was from vaccines. This is like 10 years ago, so I don't. To me, the COVID thing was never political. I never took the flu vaccine. I never took vaccines. I didn't like them. I was mad. I found out my parents when I was a baby. You guys got me the MMR thing. That's why I got the measles. But I know you have to get that shit when you're a baby. But I don't like any of them. So yeah, for me it was never political. But they should investigate people when, in my opinion, like Bill Gates is wanted in like 3 countries. I mean, the man is literally wanted for murder for attempted genocide. Not murder. Attempted genocide is a technical term he's wanted for in Africa and India. So 2 continents technically. Yeah, it's looking like Watson might be. Yeah, it's right. I mean, you can look it up too. Like that's not. I'm not being conspiratorial. That's the truth. Like he's wanted. He also runs the World Depopulation Agenda. It's a real organization. So yeah, this man that runs the World Depopulation Agenda that says we need to drop about 20% is the literal guy helping us with our vaccines. Uh, no, I think you got them all. Looks like you got a leg two for Seattle. I think they cover, and you got the leg three for the Broncos. I actually have to make mine. I have to lock mine in now. I locked in most of them, but some I have to add to. Like I have to add the Denver to make it a third leg. I like the Chiefs to cover, and I like the over in that game. Um, yeah, the depopulation though. Yeah, again, it's all about sustainability and fear. Control. So it just keeps people in line. I did see Bill Burr do a thing on population. It was kind of funny. But I'm not, he was doing it more to be funny. I really don't watch comedians because to me nobody will ever touch George Carlin. So it's hard for me to watch anybody. I'm like, they're still not George Carlin. But I'm glad you got something better. Hopefully we can make money with the system and do good. So Pittsburgh closer than I thought actually. Double P. We just need a touchdown. A field goal doesn't do it, unfortunately. It could be because you brought it up a lot of times. These people are Satanists. They didn't treat Tebow well. They're certainly not going to treat Derek Carr well if he's a preacher. They're not going to treat players well that don't do what they want them. I truly believe the top play like Satanism is a real religion. That's the thing. People think Satanism is just not believing in like God or something, or not believing in whatever your religion is. It's actually worshiping Satan into a ridiculous, and that's why they love these numbers so much. Like they literally feel a Satan. That's what I feel like people don't understand. Uh, yeah, George Carlin is goaded, and I don't see like Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, and Dave is on a higher level than Bill, obviously, right now. I think Bill's just as funny. I think Dave's just done more, but I don't think they can touch Carlin. I don't think anyone ever will be able to touch what Carlin did. I'm 30, so like the fact that I'm saying that should really show how fucking good this guy was. He was so damn good. He's the only dude I've ever looked up to as far as like celebrity. Like right now, looking back, I'm like, how could I have looked up to these celebrities? He's the only one where it stands. I'm like, I still look up to that guy. He was hilarious. He was just so fucking funny, and he didn't even try and be. And I don't know. It was just he even said it. He said, "I used to think I was a comedian who wrote his own shit." He's like, "Then I realized I was a writer who performed my own shit." And it was the way he looked at the world. He was a philosopher in every aspect of the way. So he was dropping truth way before anyone today, and people just didn't realize it because he was funny about it. Yeah, there's a lot of well, Argentina. It's funny. I mean, millions got away to Argentina from World War II. I have a lot of World War II is another one that a lot of interesting things about that that I saw some videos on. Yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, I think people you had I listened to a lot of older stuff and like I was watching some John Wayne interviews where he just fucking nailed exactly what happens to the party, the liberal party that was for good things. I would fall under the categorization of a liberal 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and now just because I don't believe in a couple things, I'm labeled a staunch conservative. So I think in the 60s, 70s, people understood that it wasn't as divided for sure. I'm sure it was divided in different ways, but it just seems like a lot of people now just listen to the celebrities and follow suit. And like Twitter's becoming an area where all we see is people just like acting way angrier and stuff than they act in real life. And it's just weird. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy. There's so much nuts going on. So there's a theory of are we actually going to get stupider? I think it's called like devolution, or not devolution. That's another theory. It's um it's Idiocracy. They made a movie on it, and I think with it depends on how we use our brains. Carlin talked about how we were given the gift to communicate, to use our brains, to logic, and to do stuff. And what do? We sit around, watch TV, we go shopping, we eat fast food. I'm still guilty of a lot of these things, but we don't ever just conversate or try and like learn about other people or pick brains. It's all about egos now, and I just think people are getting more emotional, and it's affecting our reasoning. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Pittsburgh makes a run. I don't know why. Yeah, it looks like Denver, or I'm not Denver. It looks like Cleveland might be shot. Um, oh, Burrow threw one. Okay, I was gonna say if we threw one, then it's looking pretty shot. If Burrow threw it, we still need a couple scores, so maybe they can do something there. Yeah, Peter. It's just something where I feel like there's no negative. There's no. If somebody came out and told me tomorrow, here's proof that you were wrong about this individual. Let's say someone found George Carlin was a terrible person, and they had proof and they had evidence. It would be a bummer, but I'm not gonna sit there and pretend, "Oh, that's fake evidence," or like, "Nope, that's not him on that video," and it clearly is. So a lot of my childhood heroes, I just very quickly was able to, okay, this guy might not be as independent thinking as I thought they were. This person might not be an independent singer. They act like they are, but they seem mainstream. Uh, when you don't have heroes, I feel like it's easier not to get upset. Overall about Trump, thanks, Peter. I appreciate it. Again, I don't see what the guy did to garner this type of hate. Uh, if you're looking just at facts, right? I think Trump's a cool guy. I like Trump. I think it wasn't until he ran for president and everybody decided the cool thing was to just bash Trump, and nobody wanted him to take the reins away from the establishment. that's when people just admittedly started coming out like, yeah, I'm for the establishment. If you look at like the 9/11 theories, if you look at theories like that, people that believe those theories were mostly liberal-minded people. Trump gets in office, he exposes it, and people are like, "Oh no, no, 9/11 people are all a bunch of conspiracy theorists." So it's funny how people move off their own conspiracies just because it might fit Trump's theory. Trump, oh, I don't care what people say. Trump opened more eyes than any president in the history of the country. Nice. So the Jets are down by, oh gosh, so they're down by 11. I haven't seen the score in a while. I'm guessing because they were down by, what was it, like 17-7. Yeah, so now they're not covering. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen, and then and the Bills are going to cover. Oh, no problem, man. Like I said, I didn't want to ramble. I like answering all questions and being honest. And if someone thinks I'm an asshole for thinking Trump is better than most of the people that are in the establishment, then so be it. But I think I think if someone listened to an entire rally or both sides, I was a Bernie guy, so I listened to both sides, and the media can make it where you don't get both sides. I like one for the Bucks to cover. I am waiting on results, but we have some NBA games coming up too, and I think I'm gonna like an NBA game once I really look at it. That's what I'm hoping. The only thing is going for two might be a little improbable because I think a touchdown puts them down six. I don't know why they only want to be down five, but they've done weird things. So I'm hoping they do it and they go for two. They've been doing that a lot more this year and trying to explain it away. Oh yeah, everyone wanted to be Trump. That's the thing. The rappers all liked him. Oprah literally begged him to run for president on her show. Turnover Cowboys. Yeah, that one might just be a loss. We might just lose that one outright. So Wes, oh yeah, no problem, man. I try and just be honest and like it's the truth. Like the Oprah thing, she asked him to be. David Letterman, everybody was asking him to run. All the rappers were asking him to be in their songs. The Celebrity Apprentice, people want. Only a few people really stuck with him and were on like Kid Rock, Mike Tyson, a few from the very beginning that knew him in the '80s and the '70s. The wrestlers all stuck with him too, which is cool. I feel like they can't be bought because they're not going to be canceled by Disney or ESPN or any of these people. They're owned by McMahon and their entire thing. Uh, yeah, basically. I mean, we're definitely not in a great spot. I mean, I think people are waking up, and that's the most important thing. Just the fact that people are seeing, okay, the shit on the news isn't real. The shit in sports isn't real. Oh, none of like so much that we've been told is real or we've been lied to. You know, but Bills -10, the line closed. Yeah, I'm wondering if I lost that one because it looks like that one might be exactly 11, and it's just gonna it'll be all right. We'll get a leg two for it, but I thought the Jets would be finished closer. Maybe they give them a late run. We'll have to see what happens. Oh yeah, no problem, man. Yeah. So if I forget any, let me know. But yeah, for the fours, like I said, I like the leg two for the Seattle cover and leg three for Broncos over. And then for basketball, I do like the Pels, just a leg one. And I'll go into the other games. I locked in the Pels because I noticed there was 3:30, and I wanted to let you guys know. So since it was kind of a quick pick, also I made it a leg one. Browns are driving. That'd be nice. And yeah, it is pretty funny. Some people do literally remind me of NPCs. I don't play a lot of video games, so hearing some people talk, whether it's on the news or in real life, and they're just obviously repeating something they've heard, not something they've learned. It's really funny because they do sound like NPCs. I know people personally that I do because I have a monotonous voice. So like just by like I can't I don't put inflection on like excitement and things like that. But there's people that just they'll say a certain thing, a political quote and sound so much like an NPC. It'd be nice if the Browns did. I'm worried they might need to score twice, only because I don't know why they'd go for two. Now the good thing about the Jets is they're in the red zone. No, they just fumbled the um, the Bills. Yeah, I think they just fumbled the ball. I was gonna say I was gonna say they just need a field goal. They'll make it an 8-point game, but yeah, they went and fumbled that away. So I'm telling you, I have the worst luck. The second I look at things, they just like turn to stone. Uh, this happened yesterday. Like the second I turned on a basketball game, I forget which one it was. It was like 3-pointer miss, 3-pointer miss, 3-point like against my team, and then I stopped watching, and they went on a crazy run. Yeah, I'm not sure. On that one, unfortunately, we need the win because we weren't obviously the Steelers weren't getting any points, and yeah, it closed out. So that one's officially a loss, which is fine. Like I said, so for that leg two, we can make Seattle. Unless you already made it leg two for another one, like you saw the Cowboys wasn't going to cover. That's fine too. Like I said, the goal is by tonight with basketball and everything to get them all closed out. I will go over basketball real quick because I know some of you aren't in the Discord. I put all my picks in the Discord. So looking at all the games, gosh, there's not one I love to be quite honest. The only one I love here are the Knicks at home to cover. That's the only one, and I like it because again, they're 13-13. It'd be funny if they go to 14-13 too. But it's not just that; it's the fact that they're giving two, and Sacramento has one of the best against the spread records this year. So I just think a lot of people are going to take Sacramento. I do have the Knicks as a yeah. I have exact. I mean, some days I'm tired and I just put who's covering, and people will like in the chat. Sometimes people will like fix it up, but I literally put every single pick in the Discord, and then every double up, and then at the end of every night I recap how we did and what we're going to be picking the next day. So I do that in the Discord because it's easier for someone to just look at it and get their picks if they're not able to watch a video. Um, yeah, it's probably going to be a close Dallas win. They probably don't want to pay out the 1400 money line that the Texans were offering. Um, But yeah, so I do every the Discord's like 50 times more efficient. It's just because I have more time to kind of get everything into like a chart for everyone. Um, yeah, the Ravens won Bills ball. It should be interesting. But yeah, so for my second leg, anyone doing another second leg, I really do like the Knicks here at home to cover. I think people aren't thinking the Knicks are actually a good team. Again, I think they want to push Brunson, Barrett. They have a lot of good players, and I think they're going to be a play-in team. Whereas Sacramento, I don't have in the playoffs, so you can kind of do the math. I think games like this, where the public's going to be taking the Kings, I like the Knicks. So I like the Knicks. Again, it's going to be a leg two, so that one's probably going to be for the Cowboys plus 17. Or is that what they're getting now? Did you mean Texans? So Neil, you got the Texans. Yeah, yeah, like I said, the you could get the money line. It really depends. The plus 17, obviously you cash, so good job. For everyone that didn't, my leg two is going to be, as I just said, the Knicks to cover a 2 point spread at home. I like that game a lot. The other basketball ones, the Lakers could be tough. The Browns, I thought it was 5.5 or five that I had them to cover for. I think I officially locked at 5.5. ESPN, I'm not sure where they closed. Yeah, they closed at 4, so I got a good line. I might have got 5 probably, but I think they're gonna it looks like they're gonna narrowly miss the cover, unfortunately, but you never know. We've had them where we've been winning them and we've lost them at the very end, so it can certainly go the other way. They could. I mean, it was so Cowboys loss is interesting because it really opens up that division. I think they want the Cowboys to look better than the other teams, and I don't think they're gonna pay off that money line. So, oh yeah, that money line for the Texans. Yeah, can't. Yeah, that's all right. My name's John. My name's John, and so far all three of those are right. Understand boxing? It could happen. I think again the best way for Vegas at this point, I think, would be not to pay the money line. Most people taking the Texans. I don't think they were taking them for the even value. They probably took them for the, in my opinion, they probably took them for the 15-1 odds or whatever they were offering. Browns turnover on downs. Yeah, that one I what like I said, even if we scored, we would have needed them to go for two. We still got some time, anything can happen, but that one's not looking great. It does look like yeah, oh gosh, I didn't even check the Giants game. I was like, probably not going to win, so I won't check it. And they ended up losing like 48-14 or something. So in the division, that's going to be interesting this year because it looks like they're going to have those three teams very close, like the AFC East. Is Houston at plus money? Are you talking about the Astros or the Rockets? I mean, Pelicans leg one. Yeah, I'm doing Pelicans leg one. My only leg two in basketball is going to be the Knicks. Oh, you're talking about the Houston Texans money line. Yeah, I don't think they're going to pay that out, to be honest. I think they're going to have the Cowboys just eke this out now to tease anyone that took the money line on the Houston game because it pays out so well. I know, right? It's crazy, double P. I feel like they should be probably faded next week. Next week. Yeah, I'm not sure. When you started watching my channel, I did too for a while. I was picking who should win versus who's been scripted. But I started back in, I think it was, gosh, June or July. But the system started in September 24th. I started the playlist, and I figured, all right, this is a system that I've done before. It's worked, and when I've stayed to it, it's worked. So I put it out and set September 24th. You can check. We've about 15 to 20x. I do have several hundred in future bets, so I don't know exactly where we're at, but I promise you, you can watch every video, every pick you'll see in live time. Last Sunday, what I did was I created the rig log in my Discord just to start Sunday. Anyone that wanted to start fresh, and anyone that's in the chat can confirm that we're up. Even with the Dallas, we lost a three-legger last night. With it all, before today, we're up about 28 units. I think even with the three-leg loss, the worst people might have been is like up 24 or 25 units. Now, mind you, this was less than a week. So if you just stick to the system, even when we're off, what happens is we wind up winning way more than 7 sequences for every three-leg loss. And if you know how I do my picks, then you know a three-leg loss is a 7-unit loss. Every win is a unit win. We usually win about 20 to 30 sequences before we even lose one. So since September 24th, I haven't been in the red once. There are occasions where, of course, we're going to get different spreads, things like that. But yeah, anyone that's been tailing since just since I made it into Discord even has been up. So it's just a matter of you do need a decent bankroll to stick to the system because you're playing three legs of multiple games, and it's being disciplined really. Yeah, the Cowboys teasers got screwed up. A lot of the Cowboys things got screwed up. You're taking the Dolphins and Bucks. I like the Bucks pick. I actually like the Seahawks a lot. I really think the Seahawks. Oh, one lock for the Well, I did. The Knicks is my favorite game for the NBA tonight. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Understand, but that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Kings are better, or at least they've looked better. More people are going to take them. So I like the Knicks. So I went over the reason I was going. Yeah, I'm doing that as a second leg. The Knicks game. So Max, I went over them, but I'll go over them again. I like the Chargers to cover because I think they're pushing Tua specifically at home as a good quarterback. I like the Bucks to cover because I think Mr. Irrelevant is not going to beat Brady by. If he beats him, I don't think it's going to be by much. I like Seattle to cover by the 4 because I think the Panthers are a casualty team. Not many are going to be watching the game, and I just think it's going to be one where they can make the Seahawks really flex. And for tonight's game is that game. I'm sorry. What was it? I think there's one more. Chiefs Broncos. I like the Chiefs to cover the 9, but I do like the over because I think they're just going to let Mahomes feast on Russell. So yeah, those are the 5 picks I like. If you include the over, which I'm the over I like the most of all. I like the over on Kansas City game as well. So I like that game to go over, and I like Seattle to cover. So those 2 I like the most out of all the football games. NBA, I've only looked into a couple. I'll make a video doing the rest, but for now, I like the Knicks to cover, and I'm not sure where they're at, but we locked in the Pelicans already. So well, hopefully they're doing all right. Dallas, yeah, again, I don't think they're going to want to pay out that money line for the Houston Texans. So I could be wrong. Minnesota, okay, we should still be good on that one, I would think, unless something crazy happened. But yeah, I just don't think I want to pay out that 15 to 1. So yeah, it looks like the or the Vikings, yeah, they're down 8 right now. Okay, so we should be good there. I can't imagine anything could happen. They can go for make it 29-31, but I think we'll be good there. I think that was to. I think people don't realize how many parlays probably had the Vikings on it. That would be nice. There definitely is a lot of backdoor covers. Because they're less sneaky than a backdoor win. No fan's gonna be mad that their team didn't cover, unless they just they're betting. Like if they're just a fan, they're not going to care. Oh, they didn't cover. So they could backdoor cover. The problem is they'd have to score on this drive and then get it back. Yeah, Don. So the only ones I'm going to look at them in better detail. I was really trying to get all the NFL picks out for four, but for now I have the Pelicans locked. I don't know how they're doing. I can check actually. I like the Knicks. I made them a leg too. I really think of all the basketball games. I don't love them looking at them tonight. Okay, so the Pelicans are down right now, but usually whoever freaking wins the first quarter seems to lose. Uh, but yeah, I like the Knicks to cover. To me, that's just one. I think everyone's going to be on the Kings in that game, and I might as well just hit the NBA now. Honestly, for Toronto, Orlando, again, I just don't see a reason to play this game. If I had to, I would take the Magic. I feel like 6.5 is a little light, even though they're at home, and they could actually both go to 14 and 13 and 13-14 respectively against the spread. I'm curious to see how that holds up, but if I had to, I'd play the Magic. I'm not playing that game myself. I'm playing the Knicks. Um, and then we got the Hornets at the Sixers, and that one I am playing. I'm playing the Sixers to cover. I think 10.5. Again, it's a lot. People might take the Hornets to cover. They might want the money line value. So I think again, I think when the Sixers win, they're going to win big because when they lose, I think they're gonna they're not gonna. To me, they're a team like the Lakers, Clippers. I do think they win it all, but as far as their wins and losses, they're not. If you notice, they don't just have normal games. The Nets are another one. They either get blown out or they do awesome. They do awesome. And then for the final game, I'm playing. I am leaning with. I like the Rockets cover to be honest. Um, Again, it's another one. It's 10 points, but it's Milwaukee, really good against the spread. And I just think a lot of people are just going to take what they think is a safe bet. Milwaukee manhandles most teams. So with the healthy Chris Middleton, Houston's been putrid. They've lost a couple double digits in a row, actually, I've noticed. So did the Pistons. So I do think, did they get the onside kick? You mean the Vikings? I'd imagine the Vikings kicked it. Or do you mean we recovered it? But yeah, so those are the basketball games I like. Just to recap it, and I like the Lakers to cover. I'm going to take them just because, again, these are all leg ones except the Knicks cover. I like the Lakers to cover because they've been abysmal against the spread. So I like the Lakers, Knicks, Magic, Sixers, and Rockets to cover. Which is funny because they're all home teams, and the home teams have been doing really well. So let's hope that that holds. For the NFL, I like Tua to lose. I like the Chargers to cover officially. So I like the Chargers to cover because I think they're pushing Tua as strictly a home quarterback. I like the Bucks to cover because I don't think Brady. Yeah, they're all leg ones except the Knicks. That's going to be a leg two. So, I don't think they're going to have Brady lose to Mr. Irrelevant. And even if he does, I like the 3.5. So I like the Bucks cover, and I also like the Seattle Seahawks to cover the four. And then I like the Broncos over, and I like the Chiefs to cover that game. So I know for anyone that hasn't seen them before, those are the ones I like. Why would they do? I could watch. So the problem with the Cowboys is right now, I watch all the games on my. If it's on like the TV and stuff, I can put it on. But I put them on the computer because I watch them through my sports app. So if I pull it up, what happens is they obviously it would end the stream. So yeah, the Cowboys. So they didn't cover, but they basically shattered anyone who took the money line at the very end. It seems like. I'm guessing the Texans have some time that they could theoretically score. Yeah, that one's an interesting one. I have to look more into it. I was leaning Patriots only because I think more are going to have the Cardinals at home. But then I looked at it and I'm like, well, if the Cardinals win, both teams are still in their playoff pictures. So it would make sense that the Cards could win. So I haven't officially picked that one yet, but I was leaning. Oh, the Cleveland turnover. Isn't that the second time they did that? Like twice in a row? Yeah, that's what they're doing with Tua. They're making him look like so yeah, I would lean Patriots right now. That's to make up for the Bills law, the Bills over miss. Let's see. Actually, yeah, 32. Yeah. So that's going to be like three. I don't know. Oh, so yeah, it looks like we got the Bills cover at the last minute. Um, yeah, cool. Jets covered. It looks like I can't imagine the Bills win, or I can't imagine they. There's no reason they would kick a field goal. So that's a nice one that came through at the end. I thought the Jets weren't going to cover, so that's nice. Uh, Looks like we missed the Bengals. So like I said, leg two of that can be the Knicks, and we definitely missed the Cowboys. So like I said, leg two could be the Seahawks. Lions looking good, Jags looking good, and so we knew about the Steelers. That's the only one that did go final. Uh, Jets called a touchdown. Jets, yeah. Oh, timeout. You mean? Okay, timeout. I was like, yeah. Well, the thing is, the Bills have no reason to try and score. So I mean, unless they break a 70-yard play, a first down, they're going to kneel the ball. Uh, So I just can't imagine unless the Jets get the ball back and score, but then the cover's still good. So yeah, but why would the Bills do anything besides kneel the ball? That's I mean, if they ran it with 30 seconds left with no timeouts for the other team, I feel like NFL Twitter rigged on Twitter is just it would actually explode the site. Yeah, they always do double P. Yeah, they could score on defense. They could do something like that. Like I said, if they had some more time, they could turn it over and they could get a field goal, but there's just no timeouts. So they're just going to take two. Oh, they do have two timeouts on, so they might be able to hold them to a field goal. I see what you're saying. Uh, it'd be a tough one, but they're never completely over. Yeah, Lakers, Knicks, Magic, six. Yeah, they're all home teams. So a lot of times I don't like picking all home or all away, but in this case, I do think those teams cover. I like the Knicks the most. Um, and yeah, they always end up right how like the spread is. Yeah, the Vikings would be interesting if the pick six could happen, a sack fumble if he picks it up. I've noticed this year a lot of times they could have a red carpet to the end zone and they'll just kneel it when they intercept it. Because I feel like they're just trying to look like they're doing all the right things. But it could be anything. Trust me. There's enough public on it. They'll make sure the Bills cover. I'm just hoping the Jets hold. They're looking pretty good right now. The Browns, like I said, they're not. Yeah, the Vikings is closer than I'd like it. But the Lions are driving, so I think that the Lions just hold that game. 35-1. Yeah, I mean it could happen. I mean theoretically, you just need a stop and a score. It's just and they have the ball. Okay, so they got so here. Yeah, so the Jets they have a shot. Again, they would need to tie the game, but either way, the Jets is a cover. I think outside of a pick six or something. Lions ended, that's cool. So we closed that one out. So obviously if you don't know, anytime you close out a leg one, you don't do a leg two or anything like that. You just so Lions was a leg two, just because I really believe that one. Of all the 1 o'clock games, that looked like the biggest trap. That's what I was saying in my video. So we closed that one out, so that's good. Uh and got the overall like good job. I'm glad you got that. I, I I didn't look too much into that game's over. I focused a lot on the Broncos, Bills, and Colts just because of how bad they've been. Lions not yet. Okay, that one, yeah. So it could still happen with the Lions game. You never know. Uh, you know, all the Vikings need is a touchdown. They don't need the pat. So we'll have to watch that one. But yeah, I'm glad people hit the over. And yeah, to me the Lions just seem like the trap of the century. I figured if there's such a thing as traps, then it has to be this game. So we'll have to see how it finishes. I can't imagine that they'd pay off again all the Viking betters because I can't imagine that many people took the Vikings when when they're getting points. Or didn't take the Vikings when they're getting points. I'm sorry. So yeah, to me that one just based off the odds should be good. Bills got it at the 21, so okay, so they should just kneel it, I would think. See what they do, but yeah, they might try something weird. Yeah, they're in field goal range. It's just it looks like they only have one timeout, so it would be weird, kneel, timeout, field goal or something. I don't see. I can't see a reason for it. If they did do it, then I think everybody would know because people that bet on this shit, they're looking at the same thing you are, and they're gonna say, "Why the hell are they kicking a field goal on second down, and risking getting it blocked?" Or whatever the case may be. Now, if the Jets had all 3 timeouts, then yeah, the game's over. Again, there's coaches being stupid, and then there's just being blatantly, when there's when you have enough time to kneel the game out and you don't, I feel like that would be the most obvious thing in the world. The pick six would have been the only thing I could see. Yeah, we missed the Browns. That's why I was happy the Jets came through. It's always good to split them, and they were losing most of the game. Fumble versus the Vikes. Oh, that was the. Are you talking about? That was the Jets, right? They did the QB sneak. They couldn't get in. They turned it over on downs like twice, and then they did it again, and then they fumbled it or something. I remember they did that, and that looked obvious too because we were on. I think a lot. I thought the public was going to be on the Vikings that week, so I went with the Jets. Yeah, look, so Dallas Bengals they closed out, so we got our second legs, which is nice. Um, yeah, I did all right, Peter. About 50-50. There's a reason. Um, you know, the Lions of all the covers that was the only leg two I made. I did think Bills would go over, but I like the. I just thought, yeah, Bills win, Jets cover. That's cool. So we're about split, but I just thought the Lions was so freaking obvious. I think they cover. It would be weird if they didn't at this point. I just don't know why Vegas would want to pay out that many people. So the Dolphins Chargers, if it was in Miami, I'd have Tua blowing them out. But since they have really pushed the narrative that he's not great on the road, I like the Chargers. So I took the Chargers to cover, and it's not one I'm in love with, but I just like the narrative. It seems like they're really not. They're not acting like Tua is good unless he's at home. Yeah, so many people had the Vikings either. I'm thinking in a parlay or a teaser. Thinking, okay, I'm getting them plus 10 here, whatever the hell it is. Did the Lions just score again? I'm guessing. Because, yeah, that would have killed anybody's teaser. They're driving. Okay, yeah, they're up by 11. So, yeah, they just squashed any teaser, too. So, there's a reason I liked that game. It just seemed, it's a simple metric. I don't like to overthink things. But if it's that obvious of a trap, I'm going to go with it every time. And, so I didn't see any for 4 o'clock. Oh, no problem, man. Hopefully it hits. I think the only one I'm playing as a leg two for the 4 o'clock games. Well, I'm doing leg three on the Broncos over. If you didn't hear, yeah, Lions should finish out. But oh yeah, that was a heavy trap. I'm sure 80% of not even just the public in general, but just parlays, teasers, survivor leagues, whatever you want to call it, had the Vikings. Yeah, I think they go over. I think people are just assuming it's only going to be Pat scoring, and I do think the Pat's going to completely overwhelm the Broncos. And I think the Broncos, I think Russ is going to look stupid, but I think the Chiefs' defense looks good too. Get maybe even like a defensive score. I think it's an all-out blowout, and I think it's going to be high scoring. So I can honestly see something like 44-20. Honestly, with the way they've made Russ look, I don't think they go to 1-12, whatever the hell it would be on the over. Rockets leg one. Yep, those are the one. Okay, Magic leg one, Lakers, Sixers, and Knicks. Yeah, the only thing different is I made the Knicks a leg two, but you don't have to. It's okay. I made the Knicks a leg two because I didn't do any basketball players for leg twos. The only one I did was a Nick because I thought the Knicks, of all the games, it looks like people are going to look at the lines. If I was looking at it from like, who looks the most obvious, and looking down, I was like, oh, I would take the Kings if I was a normal person. So that makes me like the Knicks because I just feel like there's no reason the Knicks should be 2.5 point favorites. They remind me of the Blazers, honestly. Not as good, but a team that people are going to look at, but they'll probably do better than people think. Oh, did you pick the Vikes? Yeah, I don't know if to me it's just I have seen where they've looked like traps before, and they haven't been traps. The better team just won, but this one was just weird. I mean, the Lions opened up -1, and they moved all the way to three, and then they moved back a little bit. But I don't know what they should have never been 3 point favorites. It just made no sense to me. and I was afraid it might have been a reverse trap, but I'm like, I don't think Vegas is thinking into all that stuff. Like, they probably think about it, but until we're all kind of thinking these games are traps, Vegas doesn't have to really worry about it. But yeah, I think that one was a they just probably set a trap to kill parlays, if I had to guess. Yeah, Knicks leg too. I like the Knicks leg too. Of all the basketball games, I like the Knicks the most, just because they are good in the Garden. And again, they're playing the Celtics on Christmas, so we're talking about 14 days now, and they were 3.5 point underdogs. Not bad at all. So they're going to have a pretty good record. They're going to have to win against some pretty good teams for that line to make any sense, and for that game to even be competitive, to look like a good game. So I think they're going to need the Knicks rolling into that Christmas game looking pretty good. So that's why I like the Knicks when I see games like this, these close games where they're going to play like the Cavs or the Jazz, or just a team where people are going to take the other team. I'm trying to look because in a minute I do have to. I'm going to get my dinner prepared, but we got the Chiefs in action. They're up 3-0 already, so that's good. Hopefully they can get some more. We don't like long drives and only a field goal, obviously, when we have the over, but we don't mind getting some points. Jags. Um. Okay, I can call that one official. So yeah, we didn't. All right, so we did miss the Steelers and we missed the Giants, but we got the Lions, we got the Jets, and we did miss the what's it, the Texans, and we missed the Browns. Looking like we're going to get the Jags. So not a great. I like 3 out of 7, I think, for the covers. So not great, 3 and 4. But I'm hoping. If you remember last week, this exact thing happened. We were actually 4 and 4, and then we went 5 and 0. We hit all of our 4 o'clock games. We hit the night game, and then we hit the Monday night game. So I'm hoping that happens this time. I'm thinking it might. I think we have a pretty good read on these teams that play in the West and at 4 o'clock every day. I am really liking, like I said, Brady, Seattle, the Tua narrative. The only one I'm a little not certain on is, do the Chiefs cover? Do we get that and the over? But we're not going to hit them all. But the goal is to close out the sequences and play the best metrics. So I think we do good in the 4 o'clocks and tonight, just like last week. We seem to do better at night. It's funny because even in basketball, like the 6, 7 o'clock games won't do good, and then we'll go 4-0 in the 9 and 10 o'clock games. It's really interesting how that works. Maybe my circadian rhythm is we're working better at night. I'm not sure. Yeah, do whatever you want. I always tell people to do what they want. Um, so the NBA games, they're just a few they're just a little bit above. I'm just gonna read it off here because it's the Rockets, Magic, Lakers, Sixers, and Knicks all to cover. They're all leg ones, and the only one is a leg two is the Knicks. I'm sorry. So except the Knicks. Um, yeah, there's a good chance. I'm telling you this. I'm not saying like I'm certainly right about Tua. I just feel like yeah, hold it if that's what you're feeling, man. I don't want to tell somebody, nah, man, I think you're wrong, and then they go with my opinion and they lose. There's nothing I would hate more than that. So really just go with your gut. If you think, oh, thanks, I appreciate that, man. It makes it easier for me. I have to, I don't have, I mean, it's just something I like to do. But when I put them all, I put them in a specific log. And for people that don't know, it's in its own section. And just updating it can take some time. It's very tedious, but I like to make sure it's as accurate as it can be. And if I ever make like a typo, you guys are quick to say, "Hey, did you mean this or this?" Or this is actually this spread. So I like that too. So I really appreciate you guys that post stuff in the Discord and pay stuff for me. It makes a big difference. It helps me a lot. But yeah, I think we're gonna do good for the rest of tonight's games. Those are the basketball plays. I'm not playing a couple games, as you can see. There's just a couple I feel I can go either way. Even some of the ones I played, I feel like the way it's one of those games, but I was leaning Rockets just when I looked at the metrics. I thought it was interesting. So I don't think there's anything else to cover as far as games. Like I said, I have to make some food in a minute. I'm a little behind where I should be. I still have to get my dog and stuff out and all those things. But I wanted to make sure I addressed any kind of questions and make sure everybody had the picks, because I'm not gonna be able probably if you post them in the Discord, that would be nice because I'm obviously not gonna be able to immediately get them all put in the Discord. but I do appreciate you putting them in there for me. I figure most people on the Discord are, probably watching this, or a lot of them I've messaged and told them who I like anyway. If you ask me, I'll always tell you who I like. So, yeah, if you have any questions or anything, just let me know before I wrap it up, like a specific game or what I like the most. Um, but it seems like we're good. I just wanted to make sure someone didn't pop in and have a question before I left. But yeah, so start. I think we're 3-4, not great. And I don't know why. I just feel like we're going to finish really strong. I think we're going to hit every game, but maybe one between now and tonight. And like I said, I usually make a video for the night game. I still might, but it might just be after the game because I do like the. I'm making up cheesesteaks. I do like the Dolphins Chargers. It's gonna be a fun narrative to talk about. Yeah, so I make. I'm from Philly, so I try and make it the best. I shave ribeye down, and I just cook it up, and then I put onions in and mushrooms and all that, and I make my own cheesesteaks. So it's a lot more. You buy them now; it's like $12 just to get a cheesesteak. So I love making cheesesteak. So yeah, I made a pork roll the other night. Anyone from Philly probably knows what that is. Um, Tonight I'm making some cheesesteaks, and I'm just gonna watch a little bit of these 4 o'clock games, and hopefully Pat will just dominate Russell. That's what I'm hoping happens. Fading the Charger at home, yeah. I mean, they definitely could do it, Neil. You never know. Uh, it's a tough game. I think more people are going to be taking Miami, and I just like the Tua sucks on the road narrative. But again, I could be wrong. For all I know, the dipshit's up 7-0 already. I don't know if that game started. I know the Kansas City game started, but yeah. So it'll be a close game, I think. I just feel like Miami and San Francisco, I kind of feel like the same. In San Francisco's case, they're breaking in Purdy. So I don't know if, again, Mr. Irrelevant covers his first game ever, like not ever, but his first game really going forward as the guy now against Brady. And same with I don't think that Tua looks too good on the road. So I could be wrong, though. So anyone that has a particular pick, please stick with your gut. But that's who I personally have. And then for basketball, obviously they're above. Knicks are the ones I like the most. But yeah, for everyone that came, I do appreciate it. I'll be in the Discord in a bit too to talk to anybody that wants, maybe college games or whatever the case may be. But I always appreciate it. It's always fun going over narratives and stuff that's not sports. I like going over stuff that's not sports. I think it's fun to go into other, whether it be philosophy, anything. I don't mind going into politics. Uh, I feel like everyone should be able to talk their opinion, and there should be no problem with that. That'll be interesting. Yeah, the thing with the Rockets is, yeah. So there's the sacrificial deaths, and it could definitely happen. That's why now the Texans, of course, I don't know if they got it done or not. They fell short, I think, but they did cover. And yeah, you have that potential of the upset in the Rockets game. So that's why when you're getting a bunch of points with certain games, I'll say, okay, we have that shot at the upset, and if not, I think we still might cover because enough public will be on Milwaukee. So that's what I'm hoping. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, for some reason, we always seem to do better. For football, I like the 4 o'clock games, and then for basketball, like the 8 or 9 o'clock games, the later games. I think they're all 6 tonight, and then like one's at 9. But yeah, it should be entertaining as they've been saying a lot. They're referring to these games as entertaining, not competitive, not hard fought, but entertaining. If you listen, you'll hear the word a lot more. But yeah, thanks for everyone that came. And if you don't have the Discord, I'll post it in here. And I really do appreciate it because you guys make it real fun, and the vibe's always chill. So take care and happy earnings, everybody.